Thank you. When you mentioned the girl at the Bob Dylan, I thought, oh, he's not going to come out of the... He met me at the Bob Dylan. I saw Patrick at Bob Dylan at the Royal Albert Hall, and I screamed right down the round corridor, and he turned around looking very embarrassed. But then I remembered I wasn't a girl. Right. I live near Teddington Lock, which is the last tidal reach of the Thames, and you may have heard enough about water lately, but here's a short poem called Thames Tide. The Thames swells with the high spring tide and silences the raging weir. Willows deep in waters wide, the Thames swells with the high spring tide. I watch the seagulls wheel and glide, their sharp cries carried loud and clear. The Thames swells with the high spring tide and silences the raging weir. And the next poem is about floods in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina damaged the levees and well over 1,000 people died. And during the Mardi Gras celebrations, these beads are sort of thrown from the balconies, and it was quite poignant the way they were still hanging from the telegraph wires. And this was a set of those very beads I bought back the year before the hurricane, and I gave all the more gaudy ones to the charity shop, unfortunately. I wish I had them tonight. Carnival beads. Above flood waters, bright beads sway from street lights, wires and balconies. Necklaces flung on Carnival Day, above the muddy waters sway. Drowned bodies rock and rot away as silence spreads its own disease. Above flood waters, bright beads sway from street lights, wires and balconies. This poem is about an orphanage I visited in Bethlehem. I have a friend in the audience who's helped set up orphanages abroad, so I thought I'd read Orphanage in Bethlehem. Tired after a night's flight, we rest on hostel beds the hour before breakfast. Cheese, honey and crusty bread prepared by a busy nun and her dark-haired workers. Immaculate in a white habit, she beckons us over the courtyard to visit the nursery, where babies in see-through cradles are tended by local women employed to care. We strain to understand her accent as she tells of Palestinian girls who arrive in disgrace, abandoning tiny lives with no birth certificates, no status for adoption, no rights to inheritance. She lifts a handful of boy gently towards us, limbs crossed in an intricate knot. So premature we hold our breath, fearing to contaminate his fragile peace. Cocooned from shortages, guns at checkpoints, the separation wall around the town. Turning a tap to rinse my hands, rusty sediment comes from the tank, emptied of its weekly ration. Now back to February. Fur hat, little poem. The hat is placed fur-coiled, discreetly sewn, domed and gently pointed on the silver curls of her troubled head. Cold winds blast on the street outside, but she won't stay in. The hat fits, soft and snug, silk lining like a second skin, familiar and comforting. In winter, the cotoneaster tree at the end of my garden is covered in clusters of red berries, and then February comes and flocks of redwing arrive and feast on them. And the poem I wrote about this unexpectedly became a lament for a friend. It's called simply Berries. The snow thawed as I slept last night. Rain lashes on my window pane. The sky hangs low, gives little light. You've gone and will not come again. Rain lashes on my window pane. Berries stripped by hungry birds. You've gone and will not come again. Yet clear as day I hear your words. Berries stripped by hungry birds, dropped round the tree in spots of red. Yet clear as day I hear your words, so hard to bear, so gently said. Dropped round the tree in spots of red, the fruit of all the times we shared, so hard to bear, so gently said. You cautioned me to be prepared. The fruit of all the times we shared, you said that darkness held no fear. You cautioned me to be prepared to brave this low point of the year. You said that darkness held no fear. The sky hangs low, gives little light to brave this low point of the year. The snow thawed as I slept last night. Here's a childhood memory about a trip to the dentist. It's just called Appointment. Bundled onto the back seat, we sat in silence, felt each gear change clunk as we headed for town and Mrs. Hardill, the dentist. Scarves round our mouths for comfort, my brother held onto my plastic umbrella, made no whinny at the horse we knew so well standing under winter branches. Golf course pavilions, tennis courts flashed by, deserted, the big hotel empty, its window frames whiter and bluer than the waves swishing grey along the sea front. As church bells chimed the hour in Union Street, we pulled up between the dentist's and the toy shop, where my brother cried for a beach ball he never got. Mrs. Hardill, grim in her white coat, nerves steely from endless drilling, administered the sickly gas and everything blurred. Beyond the spider plants along her windowsill, I swear I saw apples appearing in the frosty trees and heard buzzing from the beehive of the young assistant's hair. This is a fairly recent poem, Lilies. They urged me to take the flowers home. The crematorium would discard them next day. I wanted to leave them there for you, to glow in the frosty air after we'd gone. But someone gave me the spray of lilies, fragrant and white with golden stamens. I arranged them in vases for our living room, then scrubbed my hands at the sink, trying to remove pollen stains, yellowy brown, indelible as the nicotine on your fingertips. And now here's a happier time on a river walk from Richmond to Kew. Winter walk. We walk together in the soft new snow, each tree along the towpath like a bride, with sleeves of lace and gifts of mistletoe. The icy Thames flows past us at low tide, while overhead a flock of geese fly in towards an island on the other side. White willows spread their branches bare and thin, revealing heron nests against the light, as safe as any palace for a king. No summer day has ever seemed so bright as this quiet morning, walking here with you. The simple snowdrop and the blackbird's flight along this path bring us the world anew, beside the river, on our way to Kew. Well, thank you for listening. I've loved being part of Fizzing February, so I'll end with a poem written for Valentine's Day called Promenade. Promenade. As we walk, my feet don't touch the ground. With one arm you can lift me to the sky, wave me like a flag flying kite high, swing me round and out, light as a lasso, to catch the giddy air and bring it back to the warm heart of you.
Wow.